So here we are today. What I'm trying to do is to use copper foil tape, control the virus and save lives. This is self-adhesive copper tape. It's used as a slug repellent because of its known biocidal activity. It's relatively cheap, can be obtained in different widths on the internet. Copper's been shown to reduce the lifetime of the virus to 4 hours as compared to 3 days on steel and painted surfaces, plastics, a day on cardboard perhaps. This doesn't sound like a huge step, but actually it's very significant, in fact crucially significant, in terms of resisting the virus. The reason for that is that over 3 days virus will accumulate on a surface that's not cleaned when it's painted or steel, etc. Whereas on a copper surface one would expect this to disinfect overnight. It's a giant stride. Moreover, one might expect that the virus, the copper would be even more effective at transmitting or reducing the transmission of the virus than the 4-hour time or lifetime suggests, because all the time, all that 4 hours, the virus is being killed. So after 2 hours, half of the virus will be killed. That might crucially reduce the amount of virus to less than the infectious dose. So the effect of that just simply could be better than the time suggests. In addition, I can't see any results for lifetime of the virus on skin, and one has sebic acid on the surface of skin, probably because it is a viricide, and one might expect that it would act synergistically in respect of copper, so that the copper will essentially kill the virus, but the sebic acid would be expected to even more activate the effect of copper, make the copper itself more reactive and itself act against the virus. So one might expect some level of synergism between copper and the sebic acid in one's skin when one touches to kill significant quantity of the virus upon touch. So that 4-hour lifetime might well be much improved on as an indicator of copper's virucidal activity in respect of this virus. What I suggest with this copper tape is that it's stuck to all often touched surfaces. That would be much cheaper than manufacturing. It would be instant manufacturing handles, surfaces out of copper or copper alloys or electroplating or any other way of putting copper metal on a surface. This is an instant fix. It's very flexible. It's durable. I've had them now ever since this CDC report came out. So the first thing I did is stuck copper foil tape on all often touched surfaces and the handles, especially on bins, because if you think about it, bin men go to every house, touch everybody's bin, so one would expect that to be an important source of infection. Often it's difficult to handle bins and you do it thoughtlessly, so I think it's a good starting point. It's a sleeping policeman for bins, but more than that, on every touched handle. I show you here, for example, that's on a tap handle, so it touched the handle, on television controller. It's not well done, but you get the idea. It can even be made to look nice. Here it is on the toilet flush. If one was so inclined and my other half doesn't let me do it, you could put it on the toilet seat, because obviously the virus, what can we say? A new scientist research showed that the walls of houses are actually covered in small particles of feces. And if you think about it, when you go to the loo, you don't only do number 2, you also let one go, as it were. And if you can smell it, then the size of the particles are so tiny that they carry in air. So it's not surprising that you find tiny particles of poo on the walls in bathrooms, and that's a significant source or potential source of contamination. Handles, light switches, everywhere that's often touched. I'd recommend that it was used on steering wheels in cars, gear sticks, the handles of cars, all the places you're not really aware that you touch during it. It's very interesting to follow how many surfaces you actually touch during a day. But once it's done, it's done. So if it's done well, then it can actually enhance the aesthetic of the surfaces. As it ages, it takes on a patina, a bit like gold leaf. So all in all, a very rapid, cheap way of improving one's defences against this virus. I'd advocate that it's a prime way that you can actually control this virus and save lives. I've suggested this to put it on the tube, on public transport. If you look at videos of the people on the tube, they don't wear gloves, and London has had a huge spike in deaths. I'd suggest a lot of that is due to the tube, although breathing would be the primary way one would suspect that the virus is passed. Who knows? Everybody touches the same handles, and very few people wear gloves. So I think there's a very big argument for using self-adhesive copper foil tape on instantly as an instant fix to control the virus, save the NHS and save lives.